Welcome back. Today we would like to begin considering the book of Hebrews. We will probably spend 9 of our meditations considering this marvelous book. The theme of this writing is to show the supremacy of Christ and the new covenant over that of the old covenant. We'll begin today in chapter 2, verses 14 through 18. Inasmuch, then, as the children have partaken of flesh and blood, he himself, that is Christ, likewise shared in the same, that through death he might destroy him who had the power of death, that is, the devil, and release those who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For indeed he does not give aid to angels, but he does give aid to the seed of Abraham. Therefore, in all things he had to be made like his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make propitiation for the sins of the people. For in that he himself has suffered, being tempted, he is able to aid those who are tempted. In this passage, we have been given distinctly the reason why Jesus came to the earth. He came to destroy death, and he who has been given power over death, that is Satan, and to thereby deliver those who live in fear of death. In order to do this, Yahweh himself became incarnate. The Word became flesh. That is the person we refer to as Jesus. The Greek would be Jesus, the Hebrew Yahshua. But make no mistake, it was Yahweh, God the Son, the eternal Creator God, who willingly chose to become flesh and blood in order that he might pass through the portal of death and conquer it. As well, we are told that in becoming flesh and blood, it also afforded him the opportunity, the ability to be a truly merciful and faithful high priest. This would be accomplished then in 2 manners, in 2 ways in ministry toward us. First of all, his sacrifice on our behalf, and secondly, his intercession on our behalf. The ultimate sin sacrifice had to be a perfect human sacrifice in order to cover or atone for the sins of humanity. The problem is, we all sin and fall short of the glory of God, and we cannot then atone for, cannot pay for the sins ourselves. Hence, God became incarnate, born of a virgin, in order that he would be able to live a sinless life, in order that he would be able to offer it up as a sacrifice on our behalf. Oh, what great love our Creator God bestowed upon us when he took upon himself flesh and blood, that he might destroy death and he who had power over death. But his ministry to us didn't end in that sacrifice. Rather, it merely began a new facet of service to us. For we're told here as well, for in that he himself suffered being tempted, he's able to aid those who are tempted. Jesus lived life in the flesh and knows then what it's like to be tempted. He knows what it's like to go through trials and tribulations. He knows what it's like to suffer. He knows. So, when you are struggling to understand why, you can go to Jesus because he understands. When you're struggling with temptations, you can go to Jesus, for he understands. When you're struggling with anger, you can go to Jesus because he understands. If you have never trusted him for the forgiveness of your sins, you need to go to Jesus, because he not only understands what you have gone through, but then he has paid the penalty for your failure. And he offers you freely a pardon from the consequences of your sin. Brethren, we have a merciful and faithful high priest who intercedes on our behalf to give us wisdom, to give us encouragement, to provide us aid in the midst of our temptations and trials. Afford yourself of the privilege that he has purchased for you through his death on the cross. Oh, brethren, pray and then have a blessed day.